Hi, I'm Ellie Warren, author of Not Quite Human, Book 1 in the Virehnai Chronicles, Blood and Eternity. I wanted to introduce myself and tell you a little bit about how the Virehnai Chronicles came to be. So imagine, if you will, October 2019. It was fall. The leaves on my big oak trees in my backyard were gorgeous colors. There was a chill in the air, and did I mention I love fall? It was still before anyone heard of COVID, and I was working at a TV studio as an animator and editor. It literally started with a dream. My dreams, for those of you who don't know me or aren't familiar with my other books, are these spectacular, technicolor, vivid wonders. Most of what I write comes straight out of them. That particular night, I had a dream that I can only say now that I adored. Had it been a movie, I'd have been riveted by it. It was about vampires and ancient Egypt, shifting sands and shifting loyalties, love gained, love lost, blood oaths and a war, a diaspora that both defined groups of vampires as well as changed them forever, which is a long time when you're a vampire and have nothing but time. And then it switched. Instead of being nomadic desert peoples, suddenly the vampires were in corporate boardrooms, wearing either bespoke suits that probably cost more than I make in a year, or posh ensembles and accessories that would make women envious down to their core. These vampires were incredibly ancient, and some of them were power brokers and kingmakers even. The power choosing to remain invisible behind the power, or maybe the hands holding the strings controlling the puppets, and those puppets would have been considered power brokers themselves. It was a pretty heady, intense dream, getting more intense by the minute. And somewhere around that time, my cat Doodlebug decided he was hungry, so I woke up at his insistence, which was really a bummer because I wanted to see where the story would go next. I wrote it all down. I didn't want to forget any of it. I was in the middle of finishing The Magic Within Us, my first book, so I didn't really have the time to flesh it out further then. But like everything, that wasn't the end of the story. It was a Saturday, and my sister Missy and my husband Sean were sitting around a campfire with me that evening in our backyard. Sean drinks bourbon. Missy and I were drinking wine. It was dark, and I started telling them about the dream I had. "So how did it end?" my husband asked me. Doodlebug woke me up first. So for reference, Doodlebug is a 25-pound flame point Siamese and doesn't miss a meal if he can help it. It made them laugh. It got quiet for a minute, and Missy, who at the time worked at a retirement community in the Baltimore area, asked me a question that prompted me to make up my own end to the story I'd dreamed, and we kind of all did. What would happen, she asked, if vampires suddenly started aging? She then told me that many of the residents she met had coats of arms and all manner of unusual trinkets and displays by their apartment doors in the hallways for others to see. She said sometimes she couldn't help but equate some of it with vampires. Old, aging vampires, but vampires nonetheless. And then we sat around that fire for hours, laughing and spitballing ideas for how the vampires in my dream would go from ancient, vital, youthful-looking and virile to ancient, aging, and suffering from dementia. We had lots of ideas, and most of them got chucked by the wayside. When I came inside that night, I wrote all of our ideas down along with the notes from my dream and shelved it away for some time in the future. During the COVID lockdown, I had another vampire dream, a dream of a party gone wrong. Vampires and humans ended up dead, and the most guilty of the responsible parties got away with murder. The aggrieved parties received no satisfaction and decided to wait for vengeance, no matter how long they had to wait. I wrote that down along with the other stuff, and while I was at home on lockdown, rather than solely watch movies and YouTube and eat vast quantities of comfort food, I started playing with story ideas and wrote up the first premise for what would be Not Quite Human. It started out with a dream, and I had a blast writing it. I hope everyone that reads it has as much fun reading it as I did writing it. This is Ellie Warren saying thanks for joining me today, and see you next time. Take care. Bye.
Not Quite Human, by E. Warren. Available now on Amazon.com. In paperback, Kindle, and Kindle Unlimited.